What is up, my internet friends and family? I'm Charmx, and today I'm going to be reacting to 10 secrets behind magic tricks revealed by Top Trending. Now, I love friggin' magic tricks. I don't know, they always boggle my mind. And I've always wondered, how they've been done. And I guess we're going to be finding out today. So if you love magic and you want to know how, the tricks are done, make sure you watch this video. However, if you love magic and you want to keep, the magic, because as soon as you find out how a magic trick's done, it's no longer magic to you. So, if you want to, keep the illusion of magic, I don't think you should watch this video. But with that being said, the original link's in the description. Make sure you go subscribe to Top Trending. That link's also in the description. And with that being said, let's begin.
The Chinese water torture cell was popularized by the great Harry Houdini in the early 1900s. The magician is shackled at the ankles and dunked headfirst into a water-filled...
Is that Harry Houdini? I never knew what he looked like. Like, I knew he was a famous magician, but I didn't know that's what he looked like.
Tank, then must defeat the shackles and escape, or die trying. Dozens of magicians over the decades have performed variations of this trick, some with extra deadly elements such as being bound with chains before taking the plunge. While the trick does require strength and determination, the shackles are not a factor. They are seated into a hinged lid, and the magician's assistant simply slips the pins out of the hinges while the magician is lowered into the tank. This makes escape relatively easy. That is, if you call doing an inverted power stomach crunch underwater while simultaneously fighting drowning and unconsciousness easy.
So, for that magic trick, basically, you're relying on your assistant to pull the pins out. That is very risky because, I mean, humans are prone to error. So, if your assistant, say, only pulls one of them out and forgets to pull the other one, you're screwed. And if the assistant doesn't like you, they might not even pull them out, and, you end up dying. So, you gotta find a very reliable person to do that kind of shit.
Perhaps even more often duplicated, the act of enclosing an assistant inside a specially built box before sawing her in half has been a grand finale of stage acts for decades. The box is more specially built than let on to the audience. In fact, the complete setup can be bought from commercial magic dealers. The secret was famously revealed by Penn and Teller, who have long made a living drawing the ire of other magicians by giving away secrets just like this one on nationally televised specials. It simply requires the services of a very tall assistant, one who can squeeze herself downward inside the box, which is not as thin as it seems, allowing the saw to never touch her. The trick takes advantage of the fact that people have difficulty judging changes in height when the subject lays down.
Okay, that one right there. When I was really young and I saw that blew my mind. However, now, since we just found out, how it's done, it's like, of course, that's how they did it. I could have figured that out myself. Which, I mean, obviously I couldn't have, but, I mean, it's so easy to, understand how they did it once it's shown to you, and then after it's shown to you, there's no magic left.
David Copperfield's famous variation of this trick takes it to another level by doing away with the box in the middle of the act. Presented as a botched escape act, Copperfield would lie face down inside his box while the saw begins to descend. Then the sides of the box would fall away to show a magician struggling to break free, which he of course cannot before being sawed in half in full view of the horrified audience. The two halves are then pushed back together, and the magician steps out whole and untouched. The act is not complicated, but takes professional level timing. When he tucks himself into the box, Copperfield folds his legs underneath his body, while the hidden assistant's legs pop out of the other end. They then must synchronize their struggling movements perfectly, so as to appear to be one person when the box falls away. Once reunited, the assistant withdraws his legs at the same time that Copperfield extracts himself from the box. Perfect timing, showmanship, and the appearance of mortal danger add up to make this illusion queasily convincing.
That's insane and awesome. I've never even seen that before, but I mean, just, from seeing that video right here, that looks like it would have been 10 times better than the, sawing the person in half in a box. I would have loved to have seen that live.
Penn and Teller also had the dishonor, if you side with their fellow magicians, of revealing how an illusionist can appear to catch a bullet in their mouth. This daring act is a great deal simpler and less dangerous than it actually looks. The duo performed the double bullet catch on one special, having—
Yo, I saw that. Netflix recently came out with, like, the Penn and Teller series, Fool Me. And I've kind of been binge watching it recently. And I remember seeing that episode, but they didn't disclose how they did it. And I really want to know how they did it, because it looks— I don't know how they did it. How did they freaking do it?
an audience member call out numbers to scratch into 2 bullets. They then apparently fired the marked bullets at each other, producing them from between their teeth, and then proceeded to demystify the audience by explaining the simple stunt. The bullets that are marked on stage are dummies which vaporize when fired, much like blanks.
What?
Meanwhile, an assistant backstage recreates the markings on actual bullets, passing them to the magicians before the big moment. Some simple sleight of hand and tongue, and the illusion is complete.
Okay, so an assistant slipped them the actual, like a replica of the bullet. But when I saw that, no assistant came on stage. So how did the assistant slip them the bullet? That doesn't make sense.
Magicians like David Blaine approach random passers-by on the street and blow their minds with impossible magic tricks they could not have set up before. Except that they almost always are, and the random passers-by are sometimes assistants who are in on the whole thing. In one of Blaine's most famous tricks, he has someone on a street pick a random card, and then sprays the entire deck in a nearby window. And when they fall away, the chosen card is stuck to the other side of the glass. But the secret behind this trick is fairly simple. After forcing a card for the unknowing volunteer to pick, Blaine has an assistant crouching underneath the window inside, ready to slap a duplicate card up in the window at the exact moment it's obscured by the torrent of cards he throws.
That assistant must be fast as fuck, because if you're throwing like a deck of cards out a window, you think you'd be able to see an assistant pop up and stick a card there. I mean, the assistant has like 1 second to do this, and there's also the fact that people are looking at the window. So you'd think they would notice the assistant. So either, I don't know, it just doesn't seem like it makes sense.
Another of Blaine's reality-warping street tricks is the coin bite. In this trick, Blaine asks for a quarter, then promptly bites it in half, before spitting the missing piece back into place and handing the coin back to the shocked volunteer. Blaine's masterful misdirection and a simple prop are all that is required for this illusion. The prop, of course, is a trick coin, one that folds completely in half and that he swiftly switches with the real coin before and after the big bite. While appearing to bite the coin, he simply folds the prop so that half of it is obscured from view. Then it springs back into place as he pretends to spit. Leave it to David Blaine to use simple magic store props to create illusions that leave onlookers questioning the entire notion of reality.
That kind of ruined David Blaine for me. Because I was watching his, I don't know, one of his specials recently, and it was like mind-blowing, and now you're telling me this. I should have watched this after I watched his special, like, fully. That really did kind of ruin it.
Fellow street magician Criss Angel has caught a lot of flack for allegedly using video manipulation and editing techniques in some of his televised illusions. Some, though, appeared genuinely shocking, like the time he walked on the surface of a swimming pool while a crowd looked on. But this is another startling illusion that is far simpler than it seems. Angel used a...
Alright, yeah. So I did see, this video, like, explained, and I believe they said he was using, like, a piece of plexiglass, which is, like, clear, or really clear, hard plastic. And I guess he was just walking on it on the water, so it looks like he's walking on the water, but really he's just walking on the plexiglass.
Series of underwater plexiglass pillars.
I knew
to
it.
spot in the water, even by the camera showing that there was nothing underneath him. One wrong step would have spoiled the illusion. But British magician Dynamo apparently didn't take this chance when he performed a similar walk on the River Thames. It's most likely he used a thin plexiglass platform, which a couple of canoes may have bumped up against while he was filming the trick. Angel also makes liberal use of planted accomplices purporting to be random people. In one of his more well-known street tricks, a couple of these random people hold up a large sheet of paper in front of a window. Angel then punches a hole through the paper with his hand from the other side, seemingly passing right through the glass, which is subsequently shown to be whole and unbroken. Not only do the people holding up the paper know what's going to happen, but 2 assistants are on the other side, helping with a tiny rectangular portion of the window that is detachable. The non-visible assistants simply slip it out of and back into place at the right times, while the visible ones help out by holding the paper extra tightly against the glass.
Why am I watching this? Like, I knew what I was getting into, and I've always wondered how these tricks are done, but now that I'm seeing this, it's ruining them all for me. Like, I remember seeing that one with Chris Angel and, you know, like, going through the glass, and I remember seeing that years ago, and my mind was blown. And now it's ruined. Well, I guess I knew what I was getting into when I started watching this.
In 1983, millions of people tuned in to see the promise of David Copperfield make the Statue of Liberty disappear. A live audience was seated.
Wait. Alright, so I know I just paused, I'm sorry. I actually remember hearing about this one, and I believe what they did was, to make the Statue of Liberty disappear, was that they were all in, like, some big, I don't know, stadium or something like that, and they basically just moved the stadium. Like, they turned it so that when he revealed it, the statue was no longer there because they had moved it so people couldn't see it. It was actually over here when the people were looking over here. I believe that's what happened. I'm not really sure though.
In front of the statue on a platform between 2 giant pillars, between which a curtain was drawn. When the curtain was pulled back, the statue was no longer there. Helicopters overhead showed footage of an empty space. Spotlights shone through the emptiness, revealing nothing. Even an on-screen radar showed that the statue was truly no longer there. The curtain was drawn again and pulled back to reveal the iconic statue in all of its glory. Of course, the bulk of this piece relied on TV trickery. The radar was completely fake. The helicopters and spotlights were filming and shining in the wrong place. As for the live audience, the platform upon which they sat simply rotated slowly to the right when the curtain was drawn. The sound of the machinery obscured by blaring music. When the empty space was revealed, the statue was just out of view, obscured behind the left-hand pillar. In one of his magic tricks, David Blaine nearly makes Ricky Gervais pass out by appearing to stick a needle completely through his own arm. He was even shown to perform the same trick on his left hand, going so far as to have the hand x-rayed with the technician present to confirm that yes, it certainly appeared to be sticking right through there. Well, it turns out that the trick here is that there is no trick. Blaine has apparently, in what must have been a years-long and quite painful process, created a fistula, much like piercing holes. Fistulas are scarred-over passages that can be created surgically, through which he can insert any sufficiently long, skinny object, and withdraw it without producing any blood. So no illusion here. David Blaine can just stick needles all the way through his hand and forearm, and Mr. Gervais was right to completely lose his mind.
Okay, no, that's the kind of magic trick I like. It's not even like a magic trick. It's like legit. He's sticking it through his arm. That's awesome. And like, why would you do that? Can you imagine like taking like a year just to, you know, every day just sticking some freaking needle in your arm just so you can do a trick? You'd be like, hey, look at this. That's awesome. Anyway, if you like this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up. Possibly share it with a friend. Leave a comment in the comments if you're new, and subscribe and join the family today. And I'll see you guys next time. Boop!